Hi, Assalamualaikum. We are from second group. First, let us introduce our member. My name is Meri Andini.
My name is Akbar Sangaji.
And I'm Dwi Rahmalia.
Last year, we participated in the Asian Japan City and Architecture 2019 at Bandung. Asian Japan City and Architecture Forum is one of the few activities that can be followed.
Okay, let's begin to our presentation that discuss general and specific topic with case study.
Sure. There is an interesting topic at ASEAN Japan City and Architecture Forum 2019. This topic discusses how to make a city that you live in still livable even with a high population density. The ASEAN Japan City and Architecture Forum 2019 highlighted the city of Singapore with a high standard of living standard. Singapore is a city with a high population density. Around 5.6 million people live on an area of 722.5 sq km. It means the population density of Singapore is around 7,000 people per sq km. Based on the quality of life survey conducted by Mercer in 2019, a livable city is defined as a competitive economy, a sustainable environment, and a high quality of life. Ikatan Ahli Perencanaan Indonesia has released a list of habitable city in Indonesia through the Most Livable City Index 2017. Most Livable City Index 2017 divides the survey result into three major scopes, namely top tier city, average tier city, and bottom tier cities. Ikatan Ahli Perencanaan Indonesia defines a livable city, a comfortable city, environment, and atmosphere as a place to live and have activities seen from the physical aspect, like urban facilities, infrastructure, spatial planning, and others, as well as non-physical aspects, like social relation, economic activity, and others. A good habitable index is an important consideration for residents to live or do activities in the city. The habitable index is also a measure of the comfort level of city, especially big cities with a high population and densities.
Today, many citizens complain about the inconvenience of the urban environment. Livable city is one aspect that is considered in choosing a place to live. The livable city theory is basically more suitable for cities with high population density. Nusiawal states that urban areas are one of the areas that are significantly affected by population density. Transit-oriented development is an urban area concept that has a vision to be a solution to the impact of population density. In implementing the TOD concept, an important aspect that needs to be improved is the supporting infrastructure. Good infrastructure is expected to be able to support the activities of an urban area. Infrastructure is also a component in the assessment of a livable city. So, the created a livable city, one component that needs to be considered is the infrastructure, and one of the concepts that can be used to realize a livable city is to use the POD concept.
Case study: the first, livable city in Indonesia; the second, transit-oriented development in Indonesia; the last, infrastructure as urban activity support in Indonesia.
Okay, my case study about a livable city in Indonesia. Kota is one of the speakers at ASEAN Japan City and Architecture Forum 2019. Kota is an executive director, Center for Livable Cities. In his presentation, he said that based on quality of life survey conducted by Mercer in 2019, assessed Singapore to be one of the few cities with a high population density that can achieve a high standard of living standards. In general, cities that are considered habitable are usually located in large geographic space with low rise development, low population density, and few polluting industries. However, it is different with Singapore, which can be a city with a high standard of living, although Singapore is a city that has a high population density. Based on the framework component planned by Mercer, A livable city is defined as a city that will be a competitive economy, a sustainable environment, and a high quality of life. In realizing a livable city, the Singapore urban system is planned and designed to have an integrated planning and development system which can maintain application of habitability in the long term and adhere to a dynamic urban governance approach. Singapore or big cities in Indonesia like Jakarta, Bandung, Surabaya represent a city with a high population density. But based on the Most Livable City Index 2017 issued by the Ikatan Ahli Perencanaan Indonesia, it is stated that of the 26 big cities in Indonesia, only 7 cities have a livability index above the average. The average national index result in 2017 was 62%, a decrease compared to the result of a survey conducted in 2014, which was 63%. Based on the chart above, Mercer conducted a quality of life survey in 2017, where it can be seen that Singapore is one of the few cities with a high population that can achieve a high standard of living standard. Then if we shift slightly from the Singapore position on the chart, so we will see that one of the big cities, even the capital city of Indonesia, Jakarta, is far from livable. Although the indicators used are different for each assessment, basically, this kind of research has the same purpose, which is to explore how comfortable a city is to live in for its residents. Can the provision of complete facilities make the community feel comfortable? Or is it enough for a city not only to provide physical development, but also something that can be felt, such as a sense of security when walking at night? Okay, so good space planning needs to be done. It is hoped that things that can increase the comfort and happiness of the inhabitants of an area can be well accommodated, as well as issues such as the phenomenon of the potential for a surge in urbanization in the future can be properly facilitated. Transit-oriented development is an urban area concept that has a vision to be a solution to the impact of population density.
Now, I want to explain about case study theory in Indonesia. The material presented by Hiroaki Fuji and Isami Sugeno was about the regeneration of Marunouchi Nakadori Road theory. Marunouchi, as one of the district in the city of Tokyo, has an important role as the first CBD, Central Business District in Japan. With this enormous economic potential, Marunouchi developed the concept of TOD. TOD means integrating urban spatial design to unite people, activity, building, and public space through easy connectivity by walking and cycling and close to excellent public transport service throughout the city. There are 3 main aspects in the development of the Marunouchi TOD. First aspect is pedestrian-oriented development to realize sustainable environment. Second aspect is lively public space, and last, vibrant mixed-use community. Several cities in Indonesia have implemented the TOD system, one of which is DKI Jakarta, as a city that is the center of economic activity and the center of the government, making Jakarta has a high population movement. Several areas in DKI Jakarta area that are planned for the development of the TOD concept are Duku Atas, Manggarai, Harmoni, Senen, Blok M, and Grogol. Condition of TOD application in transit area in the DKI Jakarta, the one is the diversity. There are 4 until 6 types of activity. Proportion of resident 54% and non-resident 46%. And second, design about pedestrian availability 68.8%. They are pathway with disabilities. And third, density are KDB 63%, KLB 1.83, building density 20 bulls per hectare. In the last transit, there are KRL and BRT or busway and Transjakarta and MRT. The first variable is diversity. Diversity variable in the application of TOD in the city of Jakarta has an indicator of the percentage of land use with the proportional of resident of 20% and 18% of non-resident and a minimum of 4 types of activity. The second variable is density. About variable density in the city of Jakarta with indicator of land use in the intensity KDB 17%, KLB minimum 2.0, building density 40 buildings per hectare, and job density 400 jobs per hectare. The third variable is design. The design variable in the city of Jakarta has indicator of the quality and quantity of pedestrian path with a pedestrian length of 100%, a minimum weight, a path with disability, PJU, zebra cross, canopy, set trees, and it takes 10 minutes by foot. The last variable is transit. Transit variable in the city of Jakarta have an indicator of the availability of quality public transport that can be accessed on foot.
Okay, for the next study case, we talk about infrastructure as urban activities support. In this study case, literature review as I use for guide is literature from Mr. Hiroaki Fuji, Mr. Ko Tenche, and Mr. Maeda Yansuka, but overly is focused in Mr. Hiroaki Fuji presentation. In his presentation, Mr. Fumihiko Maki talked about his innovative idea to plan West Java province with an emphasis on building infrastructure and facilities that support urban activities. In the infrastructure development of a city, it's necessary to plan well and structurally. If it's not planned optimally, it can cause mobility problem, cognition, and decrease productivity in the region. Okay, we talk about the theory. Fox defines infrastructure to service derived from the public traditional support by the public sector to enhance private sector production and to allow for house consumption. Infrastructure has an important role in supporting activities in an urban area, be it economic, social, cultural, and other activities. In this report, the focus discussion is related to infrastructure improvements that can support economic activity. Infrastructure consisting of transportation, electricity, telecommunication, and water is interconnected with one another, which then affect urban economic activities. For example, in Malang City, the study used GDP based on constant price to see the extent to which the economic growth of Malang City has increased. On the PowerPoint, you can see the GDP based from 2011 until 2019. And for the analysis, we compare the GDP data with the time series data about the development of road, water, and electricity infrastructure that you can see in PowerPoint. Next, the result of analysis. In analyzing the data, it is done by using OLS or ordinary least square, which in processing the data use e-views. The regression test results show that the road and electricity variable does not have a significant effect on economic growth, but has a positive relationship where if the road coefficient is at, it will increase economic growth. But for water infrastructure, have a significant influence on the economic growth of Malang City. This means that the higher the electricity and water variable will significantly increase the economic growth in Malang City. Thank you for your attention and
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.